Ladies and gentlemen, welcome your faces to the Spiel with Dane today, Halloween edition. Yeah, that's right, Halloween edition. Sadly, I'm not fancy dressed today because I'm not recording this on Halloween actual day sort of thing. So I didn't really come organised. I'm wearing my Halloween mask. There you go. I wear it 12 months of the year. My face is the monster. Alright, so we're going to be doing a bit of Halloween edition today, where we're going to be talking about some paranormal stories that I have had myself over the years. So I just want to put a disclaimer out there. These are all things that happened to me. I've not been influenced by anyone else. These are all things I witnessed and literally happened right in front of me and stuff like that. So I've not like watched a movie and made it up in my head sort of thing, or when I was younger made it up in my head. These are legit things that have happened, and I've thought about it more and more as I've grown up. It's like, it's a proper legit thing, and like there's nothing else for reasoning for that, because I've watched like ghost programs and they always question like, could it be the wind, could it be this, could it be that? There's nothing for it. This doesn't make no sense at all. So it's one of them. Believe it if you want to. If you don't, then don't. But I'm on the fence with it still. I'm a bit 50-50. I'm like, yeah, no, I don't really know where I still stand with it. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. So I will just start from ground one, really. I think my first experience, really, which was back when I was a youngster, when I was still in primary school. So I will just give like little briefings for everything before I tell you the main thing that happened. Kind of give you a bit more backstory to it. So when I was about, I'm going to say around the age of 8 or 7. I think it's going to be around 7 or 8. I moved to South Wales. I lived there for 10 years, moved back when I finished my GCSEs. But at that time, I was born in the southeast. Then I moved to Wales when I was about 7 or 8. And we still had family down in the southeast. So every half term, we would travel down, stay in a hotel, and see my family and stuff like that, because we had like older sisters, older brothers to see, and that's what we would do every half term. Because we moved away because of matter. I'll maybe tell a story another time. But the main thing was we travelled down. But the price of hotels are expensive, especially say if you're doing like a two nights with a family of 4 or family of 3. It's very expensive. It really is. So my family decided to look into getting a caravan on a caravan site. So every time we came down for say half term, we would only plan it for like 2 or 3 days. We would be able to do a week, because it would be cheaper for us to run a caravan for a year than it would be to stay in a hotel over a year. The financial side of it was beneficial. So we ended up buying this caravan. Then one particular time, we were planning to come down, and my grandparents used to live down the southeast, but they moved back up north, they did. Because that's where they were originally from, but they moved down to the southeast as they've got older, kind of retire, but they moved back up north because they missed north. And they were planning on coming down to the southeast to come see the grandkids, and generally to see my mother as well, because it's her parents, her mum and dad. And so for me, I'll get to see my granddad and my nan. And so they planned this trip, and it was for a week, and so particular, it was just randomly out of the blue. This was, it really was. So my nan came down, had a lovely time and all that stuff. Nothing seemed sus, alright? Nothing seemed sus. Myself, my mum, my sister, I think my little sister as well, we all went to the local caravan shop, which is about a 10-minute walk, I'd say. 10-minute walk, because we were literally the other side of the campsite we were. So it was about a 10-minute walk, I would say. We got there, I think we were to get like ice creams and stuff like that, and we started walking back, and my mum's phone went off. And it was my granddad going, get back ASAP. To my mum, your mum's collapsed. And basically, this is not meant to be soppy. We'll get to build to the story. So we got back. Obviously, when I was a youngster, I was told to keep to a side. But I wanted to try help as I could, but they wouldn't let me into the caravan sort of thing because the caravans are small, tiny. You need to give space. But basically, my nan collapsed in the bathroom, and so I was just like, oh shit. Then they pulled me away because I was only like 7 or 8 at that time. They're like, no, you can't see this sort of thing. Go over there, keep out of the way. So ambulance turns up, put her in the back, sort of thing, and on her way, she basically, but before she got to the hospital, she sadly passed away. And literally, as we got to the hospital, literally 2 weeks later, it's like, yeah, she's gone, sort of thing. So sadly, my nan passed away when she was on this holiday, just from a heart problem. Overall, I think it basically was. I can't remember. But basically, she collapsed in the bathroom and she was like fading. I don't know what like she was going, sort of thing. But before she get to the hospital, there's nothing they could do, sort of thing. So basically, the overall story is, so I will show you where we're going to be going with this. I can't remember if this was a few months later or a year later. It's got to be like maybe 3 months to a year, something like that. I can't remember the timeline of it. I think it was a few months later because I think it happened in June. Then I think it was late September, early October. We were down in the caravan. It was really cold. It was really cold because we didn't have like a high quality caravan. It was just like a basic one, like single pane glass. Like, we're not talking double glazing at that time. So it was a proper cold night. It was. So I decided to get into bed early. I did, and it was just I got into bed. My sleeping. I think I had a quilt over me, and I had a sleeping bag. You know when you unzip a sleeping bag? Actually, yeah, sleeping bag. It was a small one. It was, and it folds out. I basically did that with the sleeping bag. I just put it on top of me, and I was just laying in bed. I think I could tell you the exact program I was watching as well. I was watching Max and Paddy's Road to Nowhere. If you guys don't know that program, Max and Paddy, was watching that. So, give you the time. It was like about 8 o'clock at night, pitch black outside. It was pitch black. The weather was calm, and my parents were literally, because caravans, they're small, compressed. My parents were literally on the other side of the wall, and they all sat just watching, having a cup of tea, watching whatever was on TV. I think this is that time my sister was in bed. I can't remember my sister or not at that time. I think we did, but she was in bed because she was really young. She was, so she was like 6 o'clock bedtime, 7 o'clock bedtime. I think 7 o'clock bedtime. So she would be out. So I've been just laying in bed watching Max and Paddy, and this is why I'm gonna switch over screens now, so I can give you like an idea of what was going down. So basically, this is like the caravan room that we got. So you got the TV. Where it's got TV, you got bed 1. You got, hold on, I'll do like a 1, and we do a 2. So you got bed 1, bed 2. I was sleeping in bed 2. My head was up here, and the door is here. So that's like the door, and you got the living room literally here. Like you got like, I think it was like a table here. I think my mum was sat on the other side of the table. My stepdad was sat across the room, sort of thing, watching the TV. And basically that was the bedroom. And this little thing here, if you're wondering what it is, this is the window. Up in the top here, this little bumpy bit. Now, so the window was closed. Like I said, the weather was calm. So I'm sat here laying, and basically this is a cupboard where we have the TV, because we didn't really have room to put a TV anywhere, so you could only put it in the cupboard. So we put the TV in the cupboard, you open the door, and you can watch your TV. And I was just watching Max and Paddy, and like I said, my head was up this end of the room by the door, so I'm close to my family, so they can like whatnot. And obviously, on caravans, there are vents. I'm going to get that out there right now. I think there was like a little vent up here. A little tiny vent it was. And I think there was a tiny, weeny one, I believe, under this bed. I think it was like, there was like a little tiny, literally tiny. And essentially, when I was saying like, my nan collapsed and was basically kind of like going, on this wall here was the bathroom where she kind of collapsed, and And so that was like our last place in the caravan. And I was just laying in bed, right, one night. Nothing's led up to this. And I'm literally laying in bed, and literally all that happens is, let me just get rid of this quickly, so we all know that's bed 2. What colour should we use? I'm just put so much effort into trying to pick a colour. So dinner, we obviously you got a blanket sort of thing, but also I use a sleeping bag. I did. You got a sleeping bag. It's out straight, but it was like someone, right? I'm just laying in bed, minding my own, snuggled up, watching TV. And I felt a sudden, like someone it was like a big gust of wind. But literally, I could not bullshit you on this. Literally, there was no wind outside, nothing. And I'm literally laying in bed. And this, like, duvet, like, sleeping bag I've got, literally folds over. Like, perfect. It's just like that. So do you know where you like fold over? I don't like. Let me see if I can get an example. Right, the example I'm going to use. Literally, so this is the thing. It folded over, literally like that. Like it was like goes from being straight to be folded, perfect. So it's like somebody was folding, like tucking it up, tidying. That's the only way I could describe it. It's like literally it was folded over, like somebody went through like that, and it landed so perfectly, like straight. And I was just like, "Oh my Christ, what the fuck?" And I've ran out, and I literally ran out to my family, going, "Ooh, something's just happened in there." There's like a big gust of wind. My thing just like flipped on itself. It was like, yeah, now you're imagining it. I'm just like, no, that just flipped on itself. I literally generally just like, is it windy or anything like that? And we looked outside. It's like, no, it's no wind, nothing. You're imagining things, sort of thing. That's all my parents did. You just imagine things. You just kicked your leg properly and flipped it over. But this thing, I literally laying straight, and that thing flipped over. I was just like, what the fuck? And so that was my first encounter. And that's the only thing I can put it down to, because where you've got the bathroom and that, and like the quilt kind of like folded over, it was really weird. It was really weird. So that's my first encounter I had. And where it goes on to my second one now, doesn't it? So my second one was a few years later, where basically we, I think, was this at the time my granddad passed? No, my granddad didn't pass at that time. I think this was at the time my mum was kind of just like wanting to kind of go. She was learning like about connecting to the other side, sort of thing. That's the best way to put it, really. She was learning about connecting to the other side, because you can go see mediums and stuff like that, and they will like, obviously, some people believe in it, some people don't. But it's once again one of them ones that's like, something happened. Oh, sorry, my brain's. She wanted to basically connect, really. That's all she wanted to do. She wanted to see if it could connect, see if there's anything, really, sort of thing. She was just interested in it. And I think it's the first session she was going to. I said I'd go with her as well, because I was quite intrigued with it. But at this time, young again. But before we left, I think we had to leave. It was starting at 6 o'clock, so it was about 5:30. It's only 10 minutes up the road. It was at the local community centre. It was. So it was just me and my mum going, no one else. And once again, I'm going to give you another like idea to the room layout. So you kind of like, it's pretty impossible for this to be a thing. Let me just put that there. Right, do you want to see me do some drawing? You want to see me do some? I know you do. Watch. We'll go on the screen. So I'm going to give you just like, this is my basic layout of my old house that I used to live in South Wales. So this was like the kitchen, utility room. That one was living room. And you just got the back room. You got the back room. B for back room. So basically, yeah, the doorway there. and your doorway there, sort of thing, and doorway there. Let's say that. So one random day. Oh no, not one random day. So this is after my nan's passed away. Give you the timeline of this. Maybe like a year later. Maybe I'd say a year later. Maybe. Or a few months later. Maybe I'm gonna say like a year. 6 months to a year, maybe. She wanted to try and connect to my nan's, like, to get anything, maybe, sort of thing. If this stuff is real. So I was in the kitchen making some food before we left because we weren't having dinner until we got back. So I wanted a quick snack before going out because I was really hungry. So I finished making my snack, and I will draw you a big red X. I was literally stood here in the doorway of the back room. And you got a doorway there which goes into the living room, but I was literally stood in the doorway. And what we had was I don't think of a really like colour which is not too much the same. So we had like a radio like here. We had like a bookcase or just a unit there, and over in this corner here, we had a desk was in one of them corner desks. And my stepdad was on the desk on the computer, and he was listening to radio. I can tell you the exact station, Radio 2 he was listening to. And so we had the radio on here, and I'm stood here. He's listening to the radio, and he's just doing his work. And I'm just walked out the kitchen, just take my first bite of the sandwich, and literally 2 seconds later, the radio just went static, like just literally wiped itself. And this old man had a spinny chair. He span around, went, "What have you done to the radio?" I went, "Nothing." Like mouth full, like nothing. I just come out the kitchen, and it was like, "Oh, radio's gone clear." So he got up, went over to the radio, and he went to like dial it back in, sort of thing. Dial it. I don't know. Put it back on. And it was like trying to change stations. It's like, it's just static. It's like nothing's coming through. And so my mum comes downstairs then. So my mum's like stood literally next to me. I'm still eating my food. And my old man's like stood here now at this point. And he's just tuning the radio back in. And she goes, "Right, we got to go because it's we got to get going and be there a little bit earlier." So we left. And he says, "No worries, I'll catch you later." And he's still there tuning the radio. Get to this paranormal place that local community centre, like local, like or like other families have gone, sort of thing. It's not like it's one of them events where it's like 2 or 3 quid you pay to get in, sort of thing, and that's for each person. We sit down, we get about half an hour in, and you're hearing all this stuff. This guy's going, "John sends his love," and blah 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 blah, and he really misses you, and it's kind of like it's people sobbing and stuff like that. And literally, we were the last but one. The guy literally turned around and went, "I'm getting someone here now. I'm getting a radio being cleared. They cleared a radio to send a message." And no one in the room picked up on it. It's like, anything happened with a radio or anything like that before leaving the house? I'm getting the radio being cleared, and like every channel like got clear, like it's just static, nothing else, and nothing happened. I didn't tell my mum this or anything like that because she was upstairs getting ready, and she literally just came down when my old man was tweaking the radio, and I just turned to my mum, went, "The radio at home went static before we leaving, like it cleared itself, like every channel was wiped." And my mum just went, put her hand up. It's like, "Yeah, we had a radio go static," my son was just saying, before leaving. And the guy literally turned and went, yeah, literally clicked and pointed at us and just went, "That's someone trying to connect to you. There was someone present, stood there, trying to like show you a signal, like they're there." It's like, whoa. Like, it was really strange, it was. So, but I think it was my nan, because at the same time, we literally within like a month apart, we had my stepdad's. I don't know whatever the correct term is, but my his dad passed away as well. Within literally a month, it was. So I think it was more my nan. They didn't say it was more of a female presence than a male. But this person's going, yeah, this is them just trying to connect with you, letting you know they're there, watching over you, sort of thing. I was like, this guy I've never met in my life, literally, we didn't meet him before coming in. I didn't tell him, like, mate, something really weird happened before leaving. Nothing like that. Literally, last but one, this guy just went, radio being cleared, sort of thing. And it's like, I think that's literally prime example. Like, this complete stranger I've never met is just gone. A radio got cleared before leaving. I was just like, what the fuck? Like, I've not told anyone this. We just like, just treat it like normal, really. You just think the radio maybe just like the radio just being a bit old or something like that. It's cleared. But no, legit cleared, and a guy we've never met before. So for me, there's no way. But you can also look at it the other way. The guy might have like certain taglines that he might have, like a radio, a TV got cleared or something like that. TV went down or internet went down. I don't know. You might have them as like lines, but for me, it was just like a really big kind of like, oh, this is a thing, because he's literally nail on the head, and it's like it was just all perfect. I was like, mate, that's just too bloody. It's too good to not believe. It's like he executed all the right words. I was like, bro, this is the thing, and we were the only ones in the room. No one else turned around and went. That's the thing. We went again for another session after that, and we had some other stuff as well. I think the second time it was more someone else. It wasn't really. It was. I think it's like my mum's. In her family tree, like we get from years ago, connected sort of thing. So she's had like a few interactions from that side of things. So, but that's the main dominant one. That is the big boy. Then the last one really kind of happened was actually two. Actually, I've got two more I can tell you. The third one was around a time back in 2016, I'd say, where. After work, because where I work is a bit of an old building, and I was sat in the staff room at the end of the day, just on my phone, the other chap's on his phone, the other person's just cashing up at the end of the day. And we have a floor above us where it's just stock, really, just like boxes and stuff like that. And we literally just sat in this room, no one else is about, no one's upstairs, just us three in the building, because we literally, yeah. And we always had this thing, like, there's a staircase in work that it just feels creepy because it's an old building. It feels like someone's watching you in the staff room, and you're just like, don't like that, don't like that. But the second, like this particular time where we're all just sat in the staff room on our phones, one person cashing up, we just had a massive, literally a proper thud, and like to the point you feel it. It's like dropping a big box of like plates or something like that. Like you literally just like and you hear like a proper, like, I don't know, a brick or something. I can't really describe like just a heavy doof sort of thing. There we go, a box full of books or something like that. It's just like a proper doof. You're like, Jesus Christ. So we was like all looked at each other and went, what the fuck? But it was just at that time where me and this other chap were just about to leave. And we're like, right, we'll see you later. We're going out. It was just like a really abrupt way to leave. And the next day we went into work and we're like, all right, we'll go and have a look now. Because last night I didn't want to buy a look then. I was like, no, I'm getting out of it, mate. That was really odd. There was nothing on the floor. Absolutely nothing on the floor. We went up to the next floor. Went into the room, and in that room, it's just basically a stock room. But the sound of that doof sounded like something got dropped, or something fell off a shelf or something like that. We went around the room, nothing's fell over, just nothing. The room was like perfect. It was like tidy and everything. It just did not make no sense. And just the fact you had all three people in the same room, and you hear a massive thud from the floor above, you're just like, hell. Bye, I'm going home. I ain't staying here. So that was like one experience I had, which was very, very creepy. There's been like other stuff happening in work, but that's not an experience I've had, so I won't say that what they've had happen. I thought I could like lean into it a bit because like they do believe like our building's a bit haunted a bit, but The closest thing, like say, like my brother's experience sort of thing. But this, like I said, this is not like I've experienced this from what I've just been told about the building because it's haunted apparently. Um, I had like a handprint appear on a glass. It was like a little kid's hand sort of thing. It's like, oh, which was a stack of doors in the attic, and just one particular door just had like a little sash window in it. And when they were clearing it out, they just a handprint appeared, and it was just like, oh, that's a bit weird. Then the fire alarms went off apparently. So that's from a story I've got told. Like I say, that's not like I've experienced, but it's my brother's experience that. So my brother's not gonna, and he was there with someone else as well with it as well, and they both tell that story. So it's a very spooky one. It's just like a handprint appeared and disappeared. That's the one there. Or I like telling that one because everyone kind of goes, oh no, I don't like that, especially with the fire alarms going off then. Yeah, so the last one of my encounters was back in 2016. I was living at this cottage. It was literally a very old cottage. I would have to have a look to see when it was made, but it's a very old cottage. To the point, like, the staircase is wonky, and it's got character to the building, as you could say. And you can't really do much to it because it's all listed. So basically, we went through this weird time where I think I was living there with my parents. Because I moved out on my own, then I moved back in with them, then they moved out, then I was living there with my brother for a few months. And when we moved in, my mum was like, this place has a bit of eeriness about it. It's like, it feels a bit off, doesn't feel right. And she always had that feeling. And I kind of agree. It didn't have that kind of like little something in the air. It didn't feel right. It didn't feel like, say, like where I live now. It feels absolutely normal here. But there, it just felt like something was in the air. It's like, doesn't feel right here. So one particular night, obviously, like I said, my family moved out. I was living with my brother at the time. He was out. He was out on a night out, I believe he was. No, he's out staying over someone's house. He was. So I had the place to myself for a few days, and he was saying like he was noticing a bit of strange things happening in his bedroom because he had a front bedroom. He was like, it just feels really weird sometimes. Sometimes I hear the floorboards kind of creak outside my door a bit. I'd never really noticed. And so one particular night, I think I finished streaming. I got into bed about 3 AM. And I always close my door. I'm always one of the people I like having my doors closed when I'm sleeping. But particularly for this room as well, I always like lock the door as well. So lock the door and stuff like that. And I was just laying in bed. I think I was watching Twitch at the time, so not watching any horrors or anything like that. I just sat watching Twitch, and I just started hearing like footsteps outside my bedroom door. I was a bit like, what the hell? When I looked, turned the lights on, nothing. Got back into bed. Heard it again. And he's not home. I shouted him and he's going, yo, bro, you home? He's like, nothing. Went downstairs, nothing. And literally got back into bed again. And you just heard it again. I was like, mate, what the hell? I think this went on for another night, but I just messaged my brother going, mate, you coming home anytime soon? This is really odd. It's really weird. It was really strange. We don't know, like, I could put it down to maybe it was like because the building's old, like the floorboards creaked because maybe it was a cold and the heating going on, stuff like that. But the place just has an eeriness about it. It was really weird. It's just the fact I experienced like footsteps outside like my bedroom door. Like no one was in that house. Like I locked the house up. No one was in. Like literally to the point. I'll give you an idea. Like my brother couldn't like get in the house because I locked the door. We had bolts on the door. He could not get in at all. The back door, we didn't have a back alley, so he wouldn't be able to climb over the fences to get in the back garden because there was a key in the back door. He could not get in at all. So there's none of that. No one was in the house because I went and checked his bedroom, everything, checked the bathroom. The house was empty. And literally, just having that experience, I was just like, oh my god. And that's just made me kind of just going, I'm sure that was something. I'm sure that was something. I don't know who else as well. I think I moved out after that. And that's when I went on my hiatus of streaming, if you guys remember then. If you're not new, then I went on base. I moved out and went on a bit of a streaming break. And basically, I ended up... I think my brother ended up getting... My mum knew someone who was like a medium sort of thing. And they went around the house and looked around, and I went, it's the front bedroom. Someone stands in the front bedroom looking out down at the street, and that's what they were saying. It's that front bedroom. There's something in there. Luckily, that wasn't my bedroom. I had the back bedroom, and they were literally like, there's someone who stands by the window looking out at the street, sort of thing. It's like, it's one of the things. Like, maybe it's like a loved one, like waiting for someone to come home from the war and stuff like that. I was like, that kind of makes sense, that sort of thing. Like, so obviously, it's that whole thing back in the day, like where ladies would watch their men go off to war. But also, it's that kind of classic kind of thing, really. They're like the women stood at the window watching the man go off, sort of thing, and they're waiting for them to return. Mate, I'm getting freaking goosebumps just thinking about that. It's just kind of like, oh, just thinking of like when I first got told that, so I was like, mate, that makes sense. And it's always that thing as well. When I walked out that bedroom, the window was always like in my eyesight, like in my, I don't know, in my vision. It was like it was there, and you always just felt like someone was there. Like that kind of made sense to me. But she meant no harm or anything like that. Apparently, she was just waiting for her loved one to come home. So that was the closest thing we got to ghosty stuff in my life. There probably has been other stuff happened to me, but I've never really noticed or anything like that. So hopefully you have enjoyed these little ghost stories I've told you. And if you've had any ghost stories happen, do let us know in the comments down below. I'd love to know, like, do you believe in ghosts or not? If you've had anything happen to you, let us know in the comments down below as well. Hopefully you are enjoying the spiel. Thank you very much for the support on these videos. I really do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. The idea, like I always say, is just for you to put them on in the background. I just rant about stuff, and you can play a game or something like that. Or if you're at work, listening to me ramble about some ghosts. But if there's anything like particular topics that you would like me to talk about, do let us know in the comments down below. If it's like, hey, tell us like a funny story from like when you were younger or something like that. If you want to hear that sort of stuff, then do let us know, and or just general life advice. Anything like that you want me to ramble on about, let us know in the comments down below. But thank you so much for listening. Have an awesome rest of your day. Make sure you leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe. And I will see you all very soon with another Spiel with Dane very soon. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.